Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to your Chelsea versus Crystal Palace FA Cup semi-final at Wembley preview on GBFC. Chelsea, it's time to bounce back. The great thing about being a Chelsea fan is even when you experience the lows, and trust me, it's been a low week, losing to Real Madrid in the nature and how we did, to be able to have an FA Cup semi-final once again competing for major honours is a blessing. So without any further ado, we're going to build my team. We're going to talk a bit about Palace. We're going to talk about Chelsea not allowing Conor Gallagher to play and why there's really a surprise in that. I don't know, and that's not just my Chelsea bias. It's just the rules of the bloody loan. Chelsea have to let Gallagher play or they don't. And he's been their best player this season, or one of. So smart decision, the obvious decision. Before we do get into things though, I do want to ask you to subscribe to GBFC, and I know it's not many hours until kickoff, but if we can hit 2,000 likes before kickoff, I will be a very happy man indeed. Crystal Palace, FA Cup semi-final. It's quite easy for Chelsea potentially to be deflated after what happened in Madrid. Chelsea obviously look at the Champions League as a competition that is more favourable for us to win than the FA Cup. However, I always say it, the FA Cup, the oldest footballing club competition in the world, it's something you always want to win. When we look back through history, the FA Cup, when you speak to your father, your mother, your grandparents, whoever it may be, the FA Cup has always been a special competition where on FA Cup final day, people in the UK would wake up, and even if it wasn't your team, or even if you're not a football fan, it is compulsory, staple almost in many households to watch the FA Cup final on FA Cup final day. Chelsea are one game away from making it there. We've not won it for a couple of years. We've had a couple of unfortunate events too. Liverpool beat Man City yesterday 3-2 in what was once again a thrilling match between the two teams who are considered to be the flag bearers of English football right now. The two strongest, Klopp versus Guardiola, and Chelsea, Thomas Tuchel, we're kind of that third wheel that no one really wants to entertain at the party, but we're always going to be there. I think this season, when we compare Liverpool, City to Chelsea, I honestly believe if Ben Chilwell wasn't injured and Reece James wasn't injured over the Christmas-January period, I think Chelsea would have still been in this title race, which would have led to more respect being given to Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea, but it didn't work out that way. I'm not saying that it is simply Chilwell and James that are the difference between Liverpool and City looking like the most dominant two clubs, and with those two, Chelsea are exactly on the same level. I do think there's still adjustments that would need to be made. I think there are signings and improvements that would need to be made, but I don't think Chelsea are that far away. And meet in the final to play against Liverpool again, having already played in the Carabao Cup final against Liverpool already this season. For Chelsea to make it again just continues to back that brilliant record that Thomas Tuchel has. We've made the final of every competition that we've entered under Tuchel until losing to Real Madrid on Tuesday night. And even then, the performance was something to savour. And people are saying like we shouldn't be praising failure. There's failure, and then there's failure in that kind of nature. Chelsea showed that regardless of what we think the gap is right now between Liverpool, City, or even the European giants of Real Madrid, Chelsea are very, very close to something very special. Before we get into building my starting 11 today, I think Chelsea's know-how at this stage in the competition, as well as the fact that we did play so well against Real Madrid, I think we're going to have too much today for Crystal Palace. I think the fact that Conor Gallagher's not in there is going to leave holes in their midfield. I think Chelsea should aim to win the game in that midfield. There's only one of the two starters from the central midfield pairing that started in Madrid, who I think will start today, and that's Mateo Kovacic, but we'll get into that in a second. Gallagher not playing is not a surprise. I would have been concerned if he was, because not only has he shown how great of a player he is, but he is also very fresh compared to the rest of the Chelsea squad who travelled to Madrid, played extra time, and he could have given us a hard time. But the rules are the rules. Thomas Tuchel said it himself. Why would we want to hinder our opportunities? Conor Gallagher's going to have chances to play in major semi-finals again, and it will be in the blue of Chelsea Football Club. We begin with Kepa Arrizabalaga in goal. Kepa's going to get given the nod in this one. Mendy has played a lot of football, didn't do awful in that game in Madrid, made a couple of big saves as well to keep the tie alive, but I think Kepa's going to be given the opportunity here. There were moments, I think, where about a week or so ago we were thinking maybe Kepa should deserve to come in ahead of Mendy after a couple of high-profile errors, but it is the FA Cup, and I think Kepa will be given the nod. The back three, Aspi, Christensen, Rudiger. We have got to look at what happened on Tuesday night and think, well, Thiago Silva, there's still a lot of football to be played. I know that the race for the top four was kind of made a joke of this weekend by those two clubs from North London who like to claim that London's either red or white, but it's not. They got beaten by Brighton, and also, I think it was Southampton. You know, no worries about that. Chelsea will just fly the flag for London, hopefully, to get to an FA Cup final this weekend. Thiago Silva, I think, is the one to miss out. Played so much football. I think he looked tired. If there was ever going to be a player who could have came off if we had more substitutions against Real Madrid, Mason Mount and Thiago Silva, I thought were the two who looked as though they needed the rest the most. So Christensen comes back in, Rudiger and Aspi in the back. It could be Aspi right wing back, rest Reece James, bring Trevor Chalobah back into the defence. I would also say maybe Chalobah over Christensen, considering it looks like Christensen's going to leave, but I think he'll play in this game today. The two wing backs, I was about to say James Rodriguez. No, Reece James. I don't know what's going through my mind there. Reece James on the right, Sauniguez on the left. Alonso played a lot of football, was very good, by the way. I probably could have given or should have given Marcos Alonso a green box for his performance in Madrid. I thought he was excellent. He dealt with Valverde well, got forward, scored what I still believe to be a legitimate goal, but I think he gets rested. Sauniguez comes in on the left wing-back position. The two central midfielders for this game today, I was thinking about giving Ruben the third outing in a row. Thomas Tuchel spoke very highly of Ruben Loftus-Cheek in his press conference this week, saying that he needs to play with more confidence, and then we could see that potential where the words potential with Ruben Loftus-Cheek, it's getting to that point, at least in my footballing book now, where it's almost too late, and he's got to deliver to what we know he can. Since that injury, there's been an issue with Ruben and strength. And I think actually having that confidence is exactly what he needs. He needs to understand the body that he has and the ability that he has, whether he's on the ball or off the ball, to make his physical presence known. I don't think Ruben's going to start this one today. I think it'll be Kovacic and Jorginho. Jorginho to come back into the team. N'Golo Kante, not at his best at the moment, and I think he'll be rested for this game. And maybe he needs a bit of a rest. I don't think Kante will feature in this game today for Chelsea. Moving into the front three. This is the interesting one. At the moment, there's only two undroppable players in Chelsea's front three. Kai Havertz and Mason Mount, both of which have played a lot of football. Romelu Lukaku, 3 goals in 4 appearances in the FA Cup this season. There's a good chance he might start this game if he's back and he's ready after he missed the game against Real Madrid. But I don't want to see Lukaku playing at the moment. I really don't, especially when Timo Werner has put in 2 very good shifts in a row, has 3 goals in his last 2, and I think he'll lead the line today for Chelsea. And I think Mason Mount and Havertz, as much as if we're talking about the strongest Chelsea 11, as much as those two are undroppable, in my opinion, I think it'll be Pulisic and Hakim Ziyech in this game. On the graphic it says Pulisic going through the middle. We could see that, but Pulisic is better on that left-hand side and Werner through the middle. What I like about this front three is the interchangeability. I think all 3 of these players can move very well in that front line. You got Mount, you got Havertz on the bench, and if the game isn't going in Chelsea's favour, then we can call upon them again. We've got Arsenal in the Premier League in midweek, and I honestly think that game against Arsenal, if Chelsea win that, then we've got top 4. I think it's pretty much done after Arsenal were beaten yesterday by Southampton. So I do think this front three will start. I think it is definitely a good enough team to be able to win against Crystal Palace. I think it's going to be tough. Palace are going to be up for this one. It's their biggest game of the season. To make it to an FA Cup final, even against the brilliance of Liverpool, would be fantastic for Patrick Vieira and Crystal Palace. But Chelsea to win 2-1, maybe after extra time again, which would be a nightmare, but I just think it could happen. I think this team that we've got on the screen is missing some of our key players, but we've got to rest people. At this point of the season, we need to get the top 4 done. I think yesterday almost confirmed that we should absolutely guarantee to finish there. But we want to make the cup final. I think Pulisic, Ziyech, Werner is the front three to get us there. Let me know your Chelsea starting 11 in the comments down below, and I'll see you straight after the game for 6 things we learned, and hopefully we're in an FA Cup final. Come on, you Blues.